This podcast includes explicit content. Listener discretion is advised. You know that feeling when you finally meet in person someone that you have been following on social media for like a long time? I recently attended the Griffith Europe in Berlin, an industry event for the adult industry. And apart from speed network dating Russian performers, listening to panels on online self-marketing or the future of porn, and partying quite hard, my absolute highlight was meeting Janice Griffith. I asked her for an interview for the Erstis podcast, and as she was feeling sick, she invited me to pay her a visit at her place. It was a rainy day, and we warmed up with a joint and a long conversation about matches. And then went to talk about the porn industry, sex worker stigma, social media, and more. I decided to edit that first part down, just in case you, dear listeners, are not as big fans of Ben & Jerry's ice cream as we are. The Erstis podcast. Hi, Janice.
Hey. I am chowing down on some ice cream right now, but I'm super happy to be here. So sorry if you hear some gross mouth sounds on my end.
Nice. Yeah, we're enjoying some ice cream. And Janice and me, we met at the Griffith Europe this week. So how did you enjoy it?
One moment. I have a mouthful. I needed that.
Oh my god, there's crunchy pieces.
There's cookie dough, there's brownies.
Fuck yeah. Now we're talking. This is good. This is real good. Yummy.
So, we met at the Griffith Europe convention and got along immediately. It was fun to meet you. Yeah, I spoke on a panel for the state of the industry. I love Griffith as like a company. They're pretty cool. I'd been to their American events, but never to one in Europe. So I'm happy to be here.
How often do you come to Europe? How do you like it?
I have only been in the last year or so for the first time, but I really like it.
And this is your first time visiting Berlin, right?
Yes, I was in Munich about a month ago, but this is my first time in Berlin, but I really like it here.
Did you already have a favorite place in town?
Oh my gosh, I don't know. I went to this like Italian restaurant. I think it was called like Mädchen Italian, and had like fresh ricotta, like ricotta cheese and honeycomb, and it was the best thing that I've eaten in a little bit. And I'm still thinking about it, so that's probably my favorite place.
That's so nice.
But I've been all around the city, actually, I feel like, and I love it. I like the architecture. It's very cool.
So, you've been in the industry for 5 years, is that right?
October is my 5-year anniversary.
Ooh.
So I started saying 5 years, you know.
Are you celebrating it?
I don't know. I might. I should, right? It's like a...
like a 5-year-old party.
Yeah. Oh my God, right?
So you've been 5 years in the industry. Do you have a favorite kind of shoot that you like to shoot? Or has it changed over the time?
I think from the beginning, I've just loved like good old traditional gonzo porno. Like you go in and like people meet or like they run into each other and then they're fucking. Like sometimes I have fun with these like really complicated or silly plots, but for the most part, I just like I like pornography when it's people fucking.
Which is a good definition of.
Yeah, you know, I just like good old-fashioned gonzo. I think that's maintained its position as my favorite thing, you know, my entire time in the industry.
So, we finally have a sponsor. And this is none other than Erstis. That's right, the Erstis podcast sponsored by Erstis. Who would have thought it? This means if you want to see what our day job looks like, then head to erstis-podcast.com/Erstis. That's ERSTIES. Check out the video and follow the link and you'll receive 50% off your first month. Please note that the content is 18+. One last time, erstis-podcast.com/erstis. Click the link, 50% off your first month. And you must be over 18. Now, back to the pot. So, you describe yourself on social media as a naked menace to society.
Yeah.
Do you actually think that porn has a political potential to change people or to change the world?
Well, I think that porn is both pornography as a whole, is inherently neutral. Like, it is influential, but to the extent that we sort of allow it to be. Like, every form of media and representation of people in media is a reflection of some part of our society. Like, it doesn't exist outside of the world that we live in. It's not its own thing. Like, we influence pornography, and then pornography influences us. So it is something that I think is inherently political in how we treat it and how it's policed and what that means for the policing of bodies and people's choices and consent and what we're allowed to do or see. I just learned about the stuff going on in the EU about the porn laws and stuff. Mm-hmm. And I don't know a whole lot about it, so I'm going to be doing a lot of research, but I know there's a lot with age verification. I think I asked a question actually at XBiz about what the sex education situation was like, because if you don't educate your children, you can't expect them to make the proper choices. It just doesn't make sense. So,
no, I absolutely agree with you. Actually, I think it is a huge issue. And I was actually a bit surprised at the XBiz that it wasn't taken. I felt it was taken quite lightly. And as you were saying, I think what's going on is actually the whole thing about protecting the children is a huge excuse. That's just that's protect trafficked victims of sex work, whatever. You know what I mean? It's the same. It's exactly the same.
I had a sneaking suspicion that might be the case.
No, but absolutely, and
as it often is.
As it often is, but it's interesting. They keep saying that it's it's like in Germany it's already in place. This is the way it is. No worries. But it's not true. Actually, the way the UK is doing those laws is creating a firewall that is unprecedented in a democracy, and that enables them to have a censorship that would not be possible, And the excuse is we're just doing it to block porn sites so that the 11-year-olds don't see, anal fisting. But actually, we're putting, a frame in place for which we will be able to control the whole internet, and that's scary,
Yeah, that is quite scary. That's the excuse, for everything. That's what just happened in the U.S. with Sesta Fosta, where trafficking, but I think that I saw the news today, 7 New York City police officers were busted in being involved in a prostitution ring. That's interesting.
It's just insane, I think, how many of these laws are done, obviously, without talking to actually people
who are doing,
who is meant to be, and who's meant either to protect or, it's just
the people who are actually affected by these laws. I've gone to, in the United States, we have OSHA, which is, it's occupational safety, health, something. I don't know. I forget. I truly, don't quote me. It's the people who decide what the workplace standards are for health. They are the people who dentists have to wear gloves and waiters can't spit in your food, shit like that. You have to wear a hairnet if you work in a kitchen, etc.
Safety measures.
Yeah, so we've gone and spoken to them about laws and begged them to listen to us. And they're maybe we know better than you about your body.
Of course. You silly. What would you know about your body? Really?
And it's crazy because, we're not the only measure on the ballot a lot of these days. And I've heard from, I think it was hotel maids and nurses. When the hotel maids and room service housekeepers were talking, they were talking about not being able to use this tool that would help them not have to like do this one repetitive motion that was causing a lot of people to get injured. And it was crazy that we had to go there and take days off of work and beg to be listened to about what's going to happen to us. It was so one of the things that I went to Cal OSHA meetings for, or hearings or whatever they're called, was, it's been so long, Prop 60. And that would have been like no mucous membrane contact or something similar to that. So like they wanted to hold pornographers to the same standards that like other workplaces are held to, which doesn't make sense because when you have sex, you're accepting a certain level of risk by putting your body parts on other people and sometimes inside of other people, or sometimes putting other people inside of you. It's just like a certain amount of risk is accepted when you do that. So they were trying to talk about, you know, I could go on about this forever.
Yeah, go on.
There's I don't want to shit talk them because they're gonna find me. But there's an HIV foundation out there, and they proposed this bill and lobbied for it to, you know, be on the ballot. They had people outside of grocery stores asking, "Do you want pornographers to be safer?" And everyone was like, "Fuck yeah, I do." And we were like, "No, you're wrong. They're wrong. Shh."
But that's what's crazy. I mean, yeah. It's insane. And
the excuse thing.
The excuse thing, yeah. People, you know, the thing is, people, they think they're doing the right thing. Like, the ones who support it, because they're like, oh, that makes sense. Like, they should be safer, blah, blah. And then you can really play with people's minds. But using the whole, like, the stigma there is around it anyway, obviously. So, of course, they're
like, let us protect you. Let us save you. Don't you want to make their life better? And it's like, it's manipulative. It's, you know, it's not truthful. It's absurd. I've been to actually one of the hearings I went to. I noticed the crowd was a lot of like people of color and people who aren't usually at these things, all wearing shirts supporting this thing. And then afterwards, I literally watched every single person line up and receive a Visa gift card. Like, they were paid to be there and, like, start taking their shirts off and stuff. Like, we filmed it and it's on the internet. Like, you just saw people lined up to get, like, they were paid to be there.
That's
insane. Like, you can't.
That's crazy, man.
So, like, who gets to decide what's law? People who have enough money to pay people to show up and support it? You know, like, yeah, exactly. Is that how we decide things?
That's how we do the law.
Yeah.
That's democracy. Welcome. It's fantastic. Works pretty well.
Yeah. No problem so far.
Okay. Do you think actually that social media, the fact that, you know, now so many sex workers and are on social media and have more direct communication with anyone, basically, do you think that that's positive in the way that we can, you know, influence what is being talked about us? You know, like, do you think that's like a positive?
Yeah, I do. I mean, in general, having this like technology to talk to anyone, anywhere, at any time, almost, is incredible. Like, the knowledge that we spread, like, you know, how many people are alive because they were able to get a message? Like, I don't know. It's amazing the way that we can form communities without being physically near each other. It's amazing that we can share, you know, photos and information about everything going on in the world with each other. Like, unfortunately, like, I see when someone dies. Like, I see when there's someone dangerous, like, out there hurting my friends and the people in my community. I see when bad laws are coming out that are going to hurt us. I really appreciate social media for that. And then a lot of politicians are on social media now. And a lot of them check their mentions, in the United States at least. Like, they answer back too. Like, you can ask questions about their platforms and they'll answer you. It has like a level of accountability to it, you know, and it's real. It's not like they're these fake people who are so far away from you. New York is actually having an election today, and Cynthia Nixon is running for governor. Mm-hmm. And I really hope she wins. Mm-hmm. I hope my dad voted for her.
Did you ask him to?
Yes, I did.
So coming back to social media, it's obviously also like a way of self-promoting. How do you experience, like in these last 5 years, how much it has changed? Like the necessity of having like this whole persona online and being present and tagging everyone and blah, blah, blah.
Let me start with saying I got on social media a very long time ago. I was on MySpace when I was like a preteen. I was on Facebook shortly after. I've been on Twitter since 2008, so that's like 10 years. And while I wasn't branding and stuff, I figured out how to use the platform. So when I started shooting porn, sorry, I'm cracking my knuckles. When I started shooting porn in 2013, my agent was like, making a Twitter is a good idea. But it was just that. It wasn't a necessity. It was just like, it's probably good to make one. And so I made a new Twitter, and now I would say it's like you almost absolutely need one to, like I said before, connect with people outside of your physical community, like talk to people internationally even. Like, I met you here, and now I'm sure we're going to talk on Twitter. It's really nice to be able to keep up with them, with people without speaking to them. And especially for work and stuff, Twitter isn't fully censored. Like, you can be naked on Twitter and you can't be naked on Instagram. But Instagram is bigger, I guess, in the mainstream world. But I mean, I live in America, and our president kind of wilds out on Twitter. It's a bit much, but it happens, and it's crazy.
It is crazy. You had an account with a lot of followers that got deleted, right?
Yes,
how did that
did.
happen?
So I don't know what I said. I don't want to talk about it too much because one of Twitter's rules is you can't evade permanent suspension. And I got permanently suspended. And I made a new Twitter because they wouldn't let me appeal their decision. I appealed it a bunch of times and no one answered my emails. Like, my account was just locked one day. Like, other people knew I didn't have a Twitter account before I did. I was just like I think I went to sleep and people were like, yo, what happened? And I was like, what are you talking about? And for a couple of days I was like, it's fine, like, it'll come back. Like, and then, some time passed and I was like, what the fuck? Why can't I? What the fuck? Like, what's happening? Why can't I fucking get on Twitter? Like, what's going on?
And you didn't get a reason? Like, you didn't get an email and be like, your account has been deleted because
They said I was promoting violence.
Oh, shit.
But it was only after I appealed it like 10 or 15 times that they replied and they were like, you're promoting violence. And I was like, where? What did I say? Have you seen the president? Like, he's threatening nuclear war. I'm like, sure, I didn't say anything that aggressive.
So where do you see yourself in, like, I don't know, 20 years?
In 20 years, I want to live on a farm in the South Pacific. And, I want to live on a farm, like a small farm, like a farm for me to have food.
Like with animals?
Yeah. Maybe.
Cool. It's a lot of work, though.
maybe like 3 goats.
Okay, 3.
Nothing more. I don't want to kill any animals. I would make cheese out of the goat's milk. I would grow my vegetables. I will live with my 5 dogs. I'll have nice long hair. I'll spend all my time outside. Like, that's where I'll be in 20 years.
Oh my God, I love it.
I mean, actually, that's probably not true. That's where I'll be in like 40 years. I'm 23 now, so 20 years will only be 43, which I feel like is still a decent amount of time to get involved in things, to do a lot of shit in the world. Sorry, I'm also ordering sushi while I do this, so I don't miss out. Where do you see yourself in 20 years?
Ooh, good question. I really don't know. Like, I have no idea. I'm like all the time, like, I'm doing so much stuff, but I'm never following when I'm doing a project, I'm like 150% in a project, and I'm like giving everything, but I'm not really thinking more than like 5 years. That's like, it's just not, it's never been. I hope now that I get older, it will start happening. I guess I should be thinking like, what am I going to do in 10 years? But until now, I haven't given it much thought, apart from like, yeah, maybe I would like to be by the water, chilling. You know?
Yeah, that's about as far as I am too. I would also like to be by the ocean.
Yeah, you know, just like having a good time. Easy. But no concrete, like, how am I going to get there? That's just, no, I didn't figure that out yet.
Yeah. Feel you there.
Yeah, we'll figure, I feel, you know. And like, things happen if you just keep on doing stuff.
Yeah. I mean, there is really so much to do and like have going on in the world.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's going to keep being like exciting. Like, I actually really think we're going to see quite a lot like of the world changing, and it's exciting, you know?
Yeah, we're at this like precipice of, there's so much like technological advancements. There's so much like, you know, maybe 20 years ago, if I was my age, I wouldn't have been able to come to, you know, Berlin for this.
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly.
There's a lot going on that I'm really happy to be alive for.
Yeah, absolutely. It's what you're saying. Like, if you really think about what technology is doing, how we're connected to people, and how that has changes our dynamics, we're living in a global world, so that's gonna have to.
It's exciting to live in a global world.
Yeah, it's fun. Sometimes.
I like it. It's crazy.
Okay. Wait. Do I have any more questions that I should ask you? I feel like I. No, I feel like we covered some stuff. I think it's fine. I think we're good. Is there anything you would like to talk about or say or?
Buy my flashlight.
Right. Give me the whole.
Mostly just buy my flashlight. It's fun, I promise. No, I don't know.
Follow you on Twitter.
Follow me on Twitter, Instagram. I'm at @reJanice. Like, if Janice was a verb and you conjugated it, it would be to Janice again.
How do you come up with that?
I was fucking deleted on social media, man.
Right.
That's, my Instagram is only, like, I had my Instagram deleted too. It was just way, like, 4 years ago or something, my Instagram got deleted. So, annoying, but if it got deleted now, I'd be like, you bitch.
Good point.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for coming to my hotel because there was a sick baby today.
Yeah, I hope you're feeling better, and thank you so much for the invite.
I am actually feeling better.
Cool. So, we'll rave on.
We will rave on.
Yes.
That's Rave on You is one of my favorite songs.
Really?
By Against All Logic.
Makes sense. Okay, thank you so much for being in the show.
Thanks for having me. Mwah.
That was my time getting high with Janice. For more episodes and conversations, follow us on Twitter @Aristides Podcast, and don't forget to subscribe on iTunes, SoundCloud, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. The Aristides Podcast.